Ahoy sailors, we're back for another virtual Patch Club, and tonight will actually be the last one that we do on video because that's at the end of our books that we have for this year. And so when we're finally able to get back together, which we hope will be soon, we will finish up our story and we'll have some fun nights and patch together. But we're not going to go ahead with another book for this patch year. So this will be the last patch that we do since we're all done with our devotions for the current books that we have. Anyway, so we want to review what we've been going over this past month or so in Patch Club as we talked about the LOVE song and being neighborly and showing love to one another. It's not always easy to love other people, is it? Someone who upsets you, like your brother or sister, especially when you're spending an awful lot of time together in close quarters like we all have been, we can get on each other's nerves. That's normal, but with God's help, we can treat each other with His love. So that's something we have to work on and ask God for help, that we would show Christian love even when we don't feel like it. What about when mom or dad asks you to do something? Do you always give a good response? Now, I don't want to pick on Gideon and Ruby, but they would tell you the same thing. They don't always perfectly respond, and we have to work on that. And I don't always perfectly respond to them when they ask for my help or they need something. Hey, sometimes I'm frustrated and short-tempered too. We're too busy doing what we want to do, and sometimes it all boils down to just being selfish. So again, it's something we need God's help, how to show love even when we don't feel like it. And that's what we've been learning in our devotions for the last month. Do you think that Christians should be willing to love others and help those in need? Well, that's how Jesus showed us by example. And that's what we learn in His Word. So it's definitely something that we need to work on to show others God's love when they're in need. Some other topics that we've looked at. So it's not always easy. We know that. You're not limited by how young you are. Remember we looked at verses in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Let no man despise thy youth, but be an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. So there's no age limit. You can't say, well, when I'm 10 or when I'm 12 or when I'm 15 or when I'm out of high school or done with college, then I'll start living for the Lord. I'll start showing others God's love. No, you can start right now. Your example in the grocery store. I know none of us are going to the grocery store together right now, but your example when you're out in public with mom and dad. Your example when grandma's over at the house. Are you still showing that you know how to behave? There's lots of opportunities you have even as a child to show God's love. Let no man despise thy youth. Everything a Christian does should be an example of Christ likeness. What we say, the things we do, the things we watch, the music we listen to, how we give of our time, our money, and our talents. Everything we do should be how we develop our spiritual walk, and it should be a Christian example to others. Now, that's something everyone has to work on. You who are young, but those of us who are older too, we have to make sure that everything we do points to Jesus. Being kind to family and neighbors is something that everyone can do, no matter how old you are. Learning how to pick up after yourself and to take care of what God has given you, those are skills that you can do even now in your home. In fact, this is when you learn them. So take advantage even of this at-home time and put some skills to good use. Showing God's love by the way you help mom and dad and help brothers and sisters around the house. We've also looked at why we should help others, who we should help, and places where we can help others. There are many places where a Christian can show love and kindness to others. By demonstrating kindness in so many ways, you share the love of Christ with other Christians and with unsaved people. And being that good testimony, boy, that means so much, because then when you have the opportunity to share the gospel, they already know you're different because of how the way you've treated them. So your testimony and your attitude and your example can open up doors in sharing the gospel, which is really important. That's what it's all about, isn't it? So we've learned a lot over this past month about being the kind of loving helper that God wants His children to be. Who do you think we should help? Just our family members? Just other Christians? Or maybe we should only help the unsaved to be that testimony. I think the Bible clearly shows us that we have opportunities to help all of those groups, our family members, other Christians, other members of our church, and certainly the unsaved as well. So let's remember that we should willingly help all those who are in need. And we hope that you've put that song to your memory, our LOVE song. I gotta be honest, I don't have any helpers today. Gideon and Ruby are busy and didn't want to do the patch lesson, so we're not going to sing LOVE. But if you want to hear it again and you want to sing it and jam out, you can tune into one of the other videos that we've uploaded over the last couple of weeks and listen to it again. But for tonight, we're just going to go on to another chapter of our story called Track Season. Do you remember last week? Buddy was practicing for the tryouts for the track team, and he decided to go down Kyle and Sam's street. I think it's Kyle and Sam. Yeah, Kyle and Sam. And they beat Buddy up, remember? And now he's trying to hide it. He doesn't want his mom to know what happened. Buddy didn't bother to set his alarm to go jogging on Friday morning. In fact, he could barely get out of bed, let alone run anywhere.